All right, it's that time again. Time for another solo overnighter in the woods. Once again, we're Creekside. We're scouting an area out. We're going to stay the night and hopefully catch some fish. On that note, let's get to it. This is that same creek that we came to about a month ago and got skunked. And I mentioned in that video I want to move further on down, and that's where we're at. And we're going to keep on going until we find a nice area that works and produces, meaning producing fish. So on that note, I promised you guys a while back I would do a hammock camping video before the summer was over, and today's that day. Now, those that watch my videos for the past decade or more, in the beginning, in the early years, I was all about hammock camping. I could just bust it out and go. As I got more experienced, I had to deal with harsh winter conditions up in Oregon and Washington and places like that. You're dealing with under quilts, over quilts, you're dealing with large tarp over top of your hammock, in addition to your hammock rain fly to extend past over your fire. Up there in Washington and Oregon, it rains like 300 days out of the year, and it just gets to where you're carrying so much kit, it's just almost unbearable. And what I've noticed, the themes, a lot of people, YouTubers mostly, that preach to carry all this stuff, they really don't carry it. They're driving around on a side-by-side or the car camping. So for today's adventure, we're going to hammock camp. Not to be confused with those 3 points of contact, gigantic trampoline looking things with a tent on top. This is actually a hammock that would go between two trees, the one behind me and the one in front of me. Ties up the exact same way. Looks like a mosquito net over top of a hammock. And then you add a rain fly in a tent configuration. And honestly, it weighs about 4 pounds, nothing crazy, and it goes up in minutes. So on that note, let's get started. Now, before we get too far down the trail, we have 100 Corporals Corner skillets dropping to my website right now. Yes, you heard correctly. My website, corporalscorner.com. We're no longer on Etsy. Once again, we are no longer on Etsy. I'm going to say this for probably about 3 or 4 months until it clicks. We're no longer on Etsy. 100 Corporals Corner skillets are dropping to my website as we speak. Go to my video description box. You're going to see my website, corporalscorner.com. Once again, corporalscorner.com. Jump on there and grab yours today. We drop our videos at 10 a.m. Eastern Time every single Sunday, and skillets will drop at the exact same time to the website. It's a one and done. Corporalscorner.com. You'll see my YouTube videos right there, and you'll see my store. Click on the store and get yours today. Like I said, this whole thing weighs about 4 pounds. Open it up. It's all rolled up inside this hammock section. Got a buckle right there. Unroll it, and there we go. These are your straps right here. This is for the actual rain fly. And there's the rain fly itself that actually creates the tent portion. So it's pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So already looking at this nylon mesh right here for your bug screen is actually pretty thick. And here's where you attach your poles. We'll get to that here in a minute. But this is the important part. These straps are actually pretty heavy duty. And the bottom is actually pretty thick as well. So worrying about this thing busting open is probably not a concern. But yeah, I mean, it looks pretty heavy duty. So here's the downside right here. You got about 12 foot-ish of 1.5 inch webbing, and you got 2 of those. So 3, 6, 9, 12-ish and change. But a quick fix would be going to, say, Home Depot or Lowe's and actually getting 25 feet of this if you wanted to. 2 25-foot pieces should be enough to actually get you wherever you want to be. Large trees like this one over here, it's about 2 foot diameter. So going around this and then crisscrossing it, I'm going to lose probably about 4 foot right there. You know, luckily it should work in this space right here, but if your trees are more than 12 foot apart, might be a problem. That's all I had to work with right there. We're barely going to have enough around these 2 trees here. So you got to go from the outside inside, then back through. That's one good thing though, as I do one side, you can see it move, and then you can tighten the other side. See how it fell backward? You tighten this side over here, but actually put it more upright. That back corner needs it a little bit right there, and that should right it. There we go. So that rain fly attaches here, and then you just tighten it down. So now it's starting to rain, but I'll show you this right here. You can actually roll the sides open, and you have a small toggle right here that you can go ahead and wrap this around, and the opposite end has a loop on it. So it's just a toggle through a loop, and that will hold it open. You've only got one of those there, but you can open up that side wall if you want to. And then this side here, you could actually stake it out, something like that. Looks kind of stupid in my opinion. That should have an option on there as well to actually pull it out away. But I guess you could stake that thing out if you wanted to. Or stake out both sides if you wanted to. The problem I see though is once you get inside there and move it around, it's going to want to pull on that guy line. You know, it's going to move like a hammock does. But I mean, you have that option there. Or you can simply roll this up. And you can flip this thing around if you want. To be honest, I've never seen any actual advantage to this. It's just a color. But it contrasts, so you can see actually there's a fold-up mat inside there. And looking at this, it's over 7 foot long, about 2.5 foot wide. So here's my Swiss Army knife one-handed trekker. And I've had this thing for probably about 10 years. And shown it off and on. And that log I just broke, I cut it about halfway through. It's about 2.5-inch diameter log. You have approximately about a 3-inch saw blade on here. Now, all you got to do is perform a stop cut. And I say a stop cut because that's technically what it is. We're going to go through about 1/3 of this. If you got a nice dry piece of wood, you can actually do that. Move it forward, move it back, forward and back. And then all you got to do is just stop, flip it over, and step on it. So here's my takeaway on this, and I've shown this for 10 years. Any type of pocket knife, American made or overseas, whichever one works for you, if you have a 3-inch saw blade on that pocket knife, you're in business. And you can cut anything from 2.5-inch diameter all the way down. And in my opinion, that's all you're ever going to need. If you need to go bigger, you scale up. Baco Laplander, Silky Saw, etc., etc. It's redundant nonsense, once again in my opinion, to carry a secondary folding 3-inch saw blade and have separate pouches for it and say, well, I have my pocket saw here, then I have the same exact pocket saw blade on my pocket knife, and then I got, why carry all that? Something like this on a pocket knife, jackknife, and you're in business. You know, it's still kind of humid out here, but it should cool off tonight. It says about 50 degrees, so we have the infamous light sleeper. And like we mentioned last week, it's hoodie season, so I always have this with me all throughout the fall and winter. This is the new Corporals Corner embroidered logoed hoodie. And the best part about the hoodies, simply take it, roll it up, place it into that hood, like so, and now you got a makeshift pillow in the woods. No spending $19.99 or $29.99 for a logoed pillow when you got one right here. The best part is, you can wear it. That side's higher, so we'll move this one over here, put that one there like so, and there we go. Perfect. So you can see this pan is not seasoned, it's lightly oiled. So you have two choices with these pans. Season the hell out of it, which I highly suggest, that way it's not going to rust. Or if you take care of it, lightly oil it, wipe it down, and you're in business. Look at that, perfection. Catch you all in a few. That's one thing about this time of the year is very little to no mosquitoes. I mean, I see a few up there in the trees up there, but, you know, it's nothing. It's been raining off and on, but just the smoke from this and that mosquito net, I'll be fine. So we have those 100 skillets dropping right now. We have Corporals Corner hoodies, size small, all the way to 5X. Those are in there 7 days a week. A lot of gear is in there 7 days a week. This is not like the Etsy store where it's open 1 day a week. This is 7 days a week. Stuff's going to be in there. Sunday is going to be the skillet drop day. The rest of the week, there's stuff in there. So check it out. We also have the cup and bottle sets. We have classes. There we go. I almost forgot that. So in addition to the hoodies, the skillets, and cup and bottle sets, I'm now going to start doing monthly classes. The month of October, I know it's a kind of late. You got about 5-6 weeks, but we're going to do a copper casting class to make a copper axe head. You're then going to take that copper axe head and we're going to come out in the woods and on day number 2 and actually locate maple, red oak, hickory, whatever we can find, a thicker, denser wood. And we're going to cut that and then carve it down. And we're going to set that axe head inside there with pine pitch glue made from fat wood. So it's a 2-day event. It's Friday through a Sunday. And, it is what it is. But most people aren't offering things like this. My friend and fellow instructor, Jake Trent from Buckeye Bushcraft, will be here. He's going to be handling the primitive aspect of it with the pine pitch glue. So it's a 2-for-1. We're both going to be handling that class. Day 1, make the axe head. Day 2, set the axe head. And you have something you can take home with you. And you've learned something also. It's pretty fun. You can sand cast molds and pretty much copy, replicate anything that you want. And, if you have something, you can make another one. If not, you can carve a piece of wood out and make a knife or an axe head, arrowheads, set it inside there, and then pour the molten copper into the mold and actually have an item from nothing, virtually. Now for November, what we're going to do, and I'll post that this week, it's going to be a navigational intensive class. If you ever want to learn navigation and you try to other places or you're just not getting it, this is a class for you. And here's why. We're going to teach the basics, the basic land navigation. We're going to teach the military land navigation. We're going to combine map and compass. We're going to use a military protractor. We're going to discuss the basics, the nuts and bolts to get you from A to B and allow you to at least walk in somewhere and walk out. We're not going to be wheeling and dealing. We're not going to sit here and try and reinvent the wheel or the already reinvented wheel. We're not going to make it up as we go. We're not going to try to find something and tweak it and torque it and add calculations to try to make it fit what we want. We're going to do the basics. If the U.S. military has done this for eons and it works, it'll work for you. And it'll be a 2-day class also, Friday to a Sunday. We're going to include some night land navigation in there as well, because in my opinion, you should not be walking, but there are cases when you have to. Good example is, say you're in Arizona somewhere and it's 120 in the shade. You might want to walk at night, but instead of walking in circles, you might want to know where you're going, right? Or now know how to at least navigate. Walk a straight line. That's the whole point of a compass. And so for that 2-day class, we'll be doing that as well. I'll post that one this coming week. The link to all those classes as well as those items is located in my description box, corporalscorner.com. I'm actually happy with this. And just like all hammocks, if it were winter time or the colder months, you're going to want some type of pad down. That's why I put this pad inside here. Because I can feel right here, this is cool. And luckily it's still humid outside, but another month or so it's going to be cold. But yeah, I might keep this thing and actually use it, because that's one thing I hate about hammocks is I don't like that banana sag type thing. I don't like that. I just never have. But something like this is an actual tent. If I had to sit up inside here, I can, And I could actually put a tarp over top of this if I wanted to also. But yeah, we're off the ground, so that's a win. On that note, catch you all in the morning. So the two downsides are the straps, which we already talked about. They're 12 foot on each side, and that's it. That's all you're going to get. Go to Lowe's or Home Depot and actually get the 1.5-inch webbing and make each side, 20 foot, and you put this thing anywhere. Next downside is, as you lay in this, everything pulls downward. So I'm noticing a lot of stress on these zippers when I would open and close them with me inside of it. So at some point, I feel the zipper's going to go pop like most hammocks. I've seen one of these hammocks, people parading around online talking about, it's the best in the biz, and I've had 2 of them, and the mosquito net pops right off every single time. You put your foot right through it. It's garbage. So I'll never buy from that company again. But this, I feel, is the same way. At some point, there might be stress on that zipper. So just be aware of that. Other than that, coffee time. So truth be told, I was up most of the night, off and on, get about an hour sleep, get up, check those 2 poles, go back to bed, put fresh bait on there, go back to bed. There's nothing wrong with this hammock tent that I can find other than the 2 features that we talked about. Get longer straps, simple fix, and then my personal worry is a zipper. I mean, it might not be anything to worry about. Honestly, it might not be at all. It might be in my head. But, the fact that if it's not, and you pop that zipper, you're SOL. So it's something to think about. Maybe raising one end higher might alleviate some of that stress on one end. I don't know. And, just playing around with it. The rain fly worked because it rained off and on and nothing got through. So I'm happy. Check this out. I was getting my boots on. I had no idea. But yeah, I think it's about time to replace these. I don't know. I might be wrong. Still attached right there, but, is what it is. These are the Belleville 590s, the Marine Corps issue, and I've had these in my video for, I want to say, 3 of the 5 years. So they lasted 3 years. I mean, is what it is, but yeah, check that out. Let's go ahead and get out of here. With that, all the gear in my videos can be found in one location, my website, and that link is in my video description box. Now please do me that favor, hit that like and subscribe button, then ring that notification bell. Once you ring that bell, please select all notifications. And as always, thank you for your comments, views, and support. Thanks for watching. If you got in the field, have some fun, I'm going to catch you next time.